Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to bring you a full face kind of get ready with me style video using only makeup purchased at Kohl's. Kind of a random idea here, but I hadn't been to Kohl's in a while, and this past weekend I was shopping for Belle's birthday and I found some really cute dresses on sale there. She's all about wearing dresses all the time, and was just doing some shopping, and of course I had to check out what was going on in the beauty section, and I actually saw a lot more than I'd seen the last time I was there, which might have been over a year ago. I think the last time I was there, they had just brought in the balm and they still had that, but now they had BH Cosmetics, Mally, an even bigger display of Pure. There's a new lip color brand called Lick. For a while now, they've carried a pretty extensive selection of Real Techniques brushes, and I don't know, it just kind of felt like I was in a little mini Ulta. I also got some cool earrings here, which I have one little pair out of this, but it's the Lauren Conrad, and I like just really small, kind of simple earrings, and so I got some really teeny tiny ones. And then, what do you call these? Teardrop shape, pear shape. They're like open in the center. I thought they were so cute, and overall I liked almost all the jewelry that I saw from that line. But we're talking about makeup here, and I'm going to start things off with kind of a rediscovered product here from Mally. It's called the Perfect Prep Poreless Primer, and now they've got it with a pump, which is probably a better idea, not constantly dipping into something with your hand. And I'm kind of falling in love with the feel of this product all over again. It is so smoothing. I swear I can like actually see a difference in the look of my skin after I've put it on. It just is instantly kind of mattifying and smoothing. It's the kind of effect you end up seeing on your skin with like a professional type product, only 10 times smoother and a little more hydrating. So that was a cool find. I was happy to pick that up. By the way, I missed out on vlogging this past week. I felt like I had a few things. I had just a little bit of video from Belle starting school, and I'll put that into the next vlog. But it was like once we got to the end of the week, things were so busy. And ever since launching the palettes, I feel like I'm on this heightened level of, I don't know, involvement almost with my social media and trying to get back to all these messages. And I'm still not able to get back to every single person, but I am literally trying. And I feel like it's an unachievable goal given the fact that I don't have all day to devote to that. But once like Saturday and Sunday rolled around, I realized I just need to chill. I need to just relax a little bit. But this next upcoming vlog I think is going to be really fun because we're going to be doing a little kind of early birthday party for Belle because Pub and Jeff are going to be coming down, and I've got like a little Wizard of Oz themed party we're going to do. It's going to be fun. But let's move along to the foundation that I chose. So I can't stay away from stick foundations. Just last week I did a whole video talking about like a dozen different stick foundations, and now look at me. I'm buying another one because I saw this from Pure and I swatched the ones that were on hand and I was kind of intrigued. It seemed like a different kind of texture from what I'd experienced so far. It's a really truly mattifying foundation stick, and I have worn this a few days. Staying power has been pretty good. I feel like I've noticed a little bit of a fade as the day goes on, but not bad. The reason why I kind of like the finish on the skin is that it's not that total cream to powder thing that's happening with the Maybelline Superstay, which I think had a real hard time adhering to my skin for any sort of staying power. So this is more creamy. I have it in the shade Light, but here's the really weird thing. I feel like as I go across my skin, I feel a grittiness in this. It's so odd. I look and I can see like little, I don't know, particles in here that are probably making it that way. And then once I start blending it in, I don't really feel it too much. I sort of suspect that maybe that's due to the mattifying properties of this. Like there's some kind of mattifying texture in there that's making it be that way. I'm not sure. But as you can see, I've just jumped in blending this out, and it does have a creaminess to the feel. And once you're done, your skin looks really matte, but it doesn't feel completely dry. So it really does even things out. I don't have a separate concealer to use today, so I may build this a little bit in certain areas. I feel like my face is like multiple colors right now. Like this tone of foundation perfectly matched like right in here, and then right up around the top of my forehead I'm just a little darker. See how truly matte I look? Sorry, I'm just making sure I actually get this blended around the jawline. The other day I kind of messed up on that a little bit. See, really even, really matte. If you look kind of close, I don't know, it looks a little makeup-y, but since I don't have concealer, I'm gonna grab a little bit off of here, dab it more specifically around my under eye. And I'll dab a little extra right in here too. I'm just using my finger because this is a little smaller area for the stick to fit in. Not a super important thing here, but this thing is getting smudgy as can be. It's like a 100% mirror finish tube, and just handling it while you're doing your makeup, it gets so dirty. So I'm just gonna dab over that and try to maintain some coverage right in here. It can kind of pull off the true two-in-one nature of a foundation stick where it can conceal as well. It does seem to be full coverage to me, and it's kind of interesting, like I said, how it's so mattifying yet not drying. I don't really feel like I'd put this up there with my top 5 from that video. If you watch my foundation stick video, I basically boiled down a lot of what I've been trying to a top 5 favorites, and I don't feel like this really ranks among those because staying power throughout the day has not been amazing, but if you want something fully matte, this is probably one of the most matte things with the most pleasant texture. It is something I'm going to continue to use now and then because I feel it did the full job on my face foundation and concealer pretty well. Now for powder, look what I came up with. I didn't even know the balm made powder foundations called Photo Balm, but I found it in the bargain bin for $7. And so I was feeling real smart when I turned up the shade Light, which I felt was my shade. And yeah, I don't know if it's a discontinued product or just something that the balm isn't keeping in stock in Kohl's anymore because they have a limited supply of the Balms brand. It's not absolutely everything. The texture of this feels pretty dry. It's definitely not a powder I would call creamy. It doesn't feel like that LA Colors Mineral Pressed powder or my L'Oreal True Match. Those are a couple of things I described as being really creamy. And this has kind of a dryness to it. And I'm just going to use a little bit to kind of set my under eye and my T-zone today in hopes of giving this foundation its best shot at lasting. Even though with the mattified look, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, I don't really need to set it. There's still a kind of a creamy feel. I feel like I'm better off like taking this preventative measure, you know? And this powder is also just a very matte, very basic seeming powder to me. I haven't used it as 100% standalone powder foundation, but just more as an accessory. I'm gonna pick up a little bit on my complexion brush, just really lightly dust that around elsewhere. The reason why this doesn't really seem like a powder foundation to me is that very little picks up on my brush. Like when I dab in, like, I don't know, I feel like it would take me forever to build up my desired coverage with this if I used it alone, but I can't really speak to that yet because I haven't tried it. Oh, another thing that I got at Kohl's that I don't have up here to show, they had a huge selection of all things related to wet brushes. Now, I recently realized earlier this summer that I freaking love the wet brush. Like, it gets through the hair so well. I have a regular, like, full-size, very basic looking one, and then I have a mini of it too, and they're just so good. And I found this kids detangler that said like time release detangler or something like that. I'm probably going to use that on Belle and myself, but it seemed like anything the brand Wet Brush makes was in Kohl's. Now somehow I overlooked getting a bronzer, but I do have a blush palette here that I got from Mally. This was kind of on special display. It's called Get Cheeky Brightening Blush Trio, and this is in the shade Just Peachy. It was the only shade they had in stock, but it's a nice little compact here. You've got your peach blush that seems to be matte, and then this sort of really light glowy shade that they call a brightener, and then this is labeled as the highlight. In using this, I felt like the blush is gorgeous, and then I'm not quite sure what to do with the brightener. Like, it doesn't have a lot of pow on the skin, you know what I mean? Maybe that's for people who just want not as exaggerated of a look as a traditional highlight gives you. I've not quite figured it out yet, but I do really like that peach blush. Blushes have been a thing from Mally's line going way back, years back, that I have really enjoyed, and it's a brand overall. I've gotten some requests. Could you revisit that, you know, look at some of the new things she's gotten? I've kept up with some different palettes here and there, like the Muted Muse one, and different larger things like that, but I feel like there's more yet that I need to try. It's just kind of gotten away from me a little bit. Fresh as a daisy. I tell you, putting blush on, it's about as good as drinking half a cup of coffee. Oh, thank you. Now I'm going to use that same blush brush and I'm going to use the brightener. And let's just pop this right over the apple and see what it does. You see any transformation happening there? I'm not really sure. It might be softening it a little bit. little softer look. To swatch it, it looks like a really extra soft, like a barely there peach blush. Like maybe on super duper fair skin that might actually show up a little bit blushy. But the highlight in here is like a little softer feeling texture. It can be pretty pronounced and it has a little bit of a buttery tone to it. Definite warmth coming out of that shade. So I'm gonna pick some of that up with my beloved Moda Highlight and Glow brush and just let it hit the top of the cheek here and sort of buff it in upwards. That tone of highlight is not something I often reach for, anything super golden, but it looks very pretty with this tone of blush. And there's no glitteriness, it's just like a soft, it's a mature highlight, I'd call it that. I didn't pick up any brow stuff. I saw a brand there, was it called like $1 Billion Brows or something like that? But they didn't seem to have a shade on hand that would work for me, but it was like a whole line of brow products, and the thing I wanted, I couldn't find. And yeah, I could have probably found a brow thing from another brand, but I freaking love my e.l.f. $2 brow pencil, so that's what I'm using. Breaking the rules. Just a little gentle fill in here, no big deal. I wear this in the shade, what is it, deep brown. It's like I use it every single day, but I always have to check the shade. I never can remember. But I tell you what, guys, these past couple weeks, since these palettes have come out, I mean, I really have been walking on air. The response has been so amazing, and it's like it just keeps getting better. First, you know, you've got the product selling out, which is a thrill, but it didn't really excite me as much as finally getting to hear that people like the stuff, you know, like, okay, that's great. They sold a lot, but I want to know that everybody's happy. Not that you're ever going to please anybody with any one product. I'm not in that big of a la land over here, but I feel like people have been having fun again, and that's been the best, coolest thing to hear. Like people telling me that they just kind of saw makeup as a duty, you know, every day. And then my palettes made it fun again, or something they looked forward to. And I just thought, yes, that's what it's all about. We all need to take a chill pill and just have some fun doing makeup. If you're gonna devote any time to yourself in the morning to getting ready, you know, you might as well enjoy it. You might as well use things that make you happy and give you a good feeling. So yeah, that's been amazing. And it's also been like, I don't know, I sometimes look at different times in my life and you look back on them just a little bit, and I'm sure a long time from now maybe I'll even look back on this and see it differently. But I think about how God is kind of steering your path and putting different things in your path that help you grow as a person, and I feel like what this whole palette thing did, I felt so vulnerable in the moment when everything went live and everybody could see what I'd made. It felt like I was just absolutely opening myself up in a way I never have before, you know? Because I feel pretty vulnerable in my videos, but it's almost like I'm used to it and I'm comfortable with it and it's fine. You know, showing up on camera with no makeup on to however many thousand people does not faze me one bit. But creating a palette was like a different kind of hurdle to jump over. Something about the long-term nature of figuring it out and spending so much time in the decision-making process for it. I felt like I was just sort of opening my soul up to everyone to see it and form an opinion on it, and it was just a very like kind of scary, vulnerable feeling. But I feel like I'm growing in this process just personally, and the real internal success, I think this goes for a lot of things in life, is not like, look what I was able to achieve or do that everybody ended up loving. It's more like, and this is very, you know, Brene Brown-ish what I'm saying to you here, but it's more about, look how I was able to bravely put myself out there and be okay with whatever the response might be. And I've tried to kind of explain this to Tyler and my mom, like, you know, this is different from doing videos to me. This feels scarier than doing videos to me. And it is different from videos. I'm going to use a little primer potion here from Urban Decay right quick. But that's just been some of the thought that's like, I don't know, been swirling around in my head since this. In case you're ever wondering in my Get Ready With Me videos, the deepest part of the conversation always comes when doing brows, because I don't feel the need to really explain what I'm doing with the brows. But this is what I got for eyes. It's from Pure, and it's the On The Go Day and Night Eye Collection. So it came in this little box. Look at the size of the little palettes. They're even smaller than a Viseart Petite Pro. But that was what I immediately thought of when I saw these like little 8-color palettes. I love the Petite Pros, and I felt like I was getting kind of a 2-in-1 deal here. And so they have the day. I did a look with this a few days ago. I felt like it became a pretty dramatic look, actually. The brown is pretty rich. The purple I like. It's purple enough, I'd say. In with a lot of these kinds of colors, it doesn't really help a lot of the purple stand out, if you know what I mean. Like if you're putting it among a lot of gold and bronze, they're not as good of helper shades to purple as like a pinky shade or a really, really dark purple might be. But it was decent, and I thought the quality was good. Then they have the Night, and the Night palette is really speaking to me. These shades, I mean, how autumnal. I feel like it's almost a splash of what I was giving you in the Once palette, but just really, really condensed. Instead of a matte green, it's like a dark shimmery green. There's some shimmer in the black also. But you got several really nice basic mattes right up here, and then a little shimmer there. One complaint about the Day palette was that there were 2 shimmery shades within only 8 colors. This shade and this shade right down here are nearly identical. This one just has a little more warm tone to it, but they're really, really close. And I thought that was odd given the fact that there's only 8 colors in the palette. But what I was saving to use in this video was the Night palette. So let's get to it, y'all. I think I'm gonna naturally start with this perfect little crease color here. This is my first time using this palette, so hopefully the textures are as nice as what I experienced with the other one, but the shades look even more, I don't know, dazzling. The mirrors in these are a little funky. They're like kind of the cheap, somewhat warped looking mirrors. Like you could see yourself enough to get the job done in it, I suppose, but they're a little funky. Kohl's had a really significant, I thought, selection of pure minerals and also a pretty big Lorac section as well. I just felt like I already had a lot of the Lorac stuff that I was seeing there that I might be interested in, so I'm just buffing over that with a bare brush, and I'm going to use the light cream color, I think, as my highlight here. And then I think I'll warm up the crease even more with some of this matte terracotta here. Really nice tone on that. I just think this little compact size is so cute, and it would be so travel friendly to like pop both of these in your travel bag. They take up like no room, and you'd have, boom, like 16 different eyeshadows to play with. The way they kind of market it though on the back of the box, I thought that doesn't really speak to me so much. They're small enough to fit in a clutch. I'm not taking my eyeshadow out to go like touch it up if I'm going out, you know, but it is true. They would be small enough for even a really little bag. So with this palette, if you do want to go deepish and matte in your crease, I don't think a lot of shimmer is probably going to come off that black shade, but you get a pretty warm look combining those 2 browns. Now I think I'm going to go into the green. We got to see what this shimmery green's going to do here. Ooh, very nice. It's a very kind of, I don't know, Emerald City type green. It's got that little sheen to it. Well, actually, it's decently metallic. I'm patting this all over my lid. And then I may lighten up my inner corner a bit with something. That's a cool shade. That applied really easily. The shadows are nice and soft. They don't seem to be producing a lot of fallout, but I am trying to be really careful. I've had some people say like, it's amazing how you made your palettes and you're still talking about other makeup brands. And I'm thinking, gosh, you know, if making something meant I had to like never talk about other brands on my channel again, like it would not happen. Please know, I love this. Like it never gets old for me. I never lose the fire for being intrigued by other things just because I've made something that I think is amazing. I don't think I'll ever lose that desire in me to want to get my hands in all the makeup. But I'm going to use this shade right here, this kind of champagne-y looking color, just because I want to see how good it is. Yeah, it's got a little depth to it. It seems a little more golden, I think, than either of the highlighter-y type shades, the shimmery highlights in the Day palette. Now I have this color that I've been wanting to use from Urban Decay. It's the 24/7 Glide On pencil in Overdrive, and I think this would look really pretty in a look with my Once palette as well, paired in with corduroy, but I'm gonna pop that in my lower inner rim and also a little bit just between the lashes so I can kind of buff it out. No, this did not come from Kohl's, I'm sorry. This was just sort of an afterthought I thought would make a cool look. And then I think I will also put it on my upper lash line too. What the heck? And I'll smudge over this also before it sets. So I'm just taking a bare Sigma E21 smudge brush and I'm gonna go over any of the liner that I put on my skin, and then I'll put some of that green shadow on top. But this palette, you know, it does kind of feel like a snippet of the Once. The Once is not gonna probably fit in most anybody's clutch. Might fit in your backpack, might fit in your duffel bag. That looks really cool, kind of smudging into that shadow. Okay, now let's pick up some of this for the lower lash line. So now I think I'm going to build up that green even more just on the outside. Now that you can see how deep my lower lash line's looking, just re-intensify that right out there. As you can see, I didn't really choose to build this look out with a major outer V or anything, just kind of keeping it to my eye shape. I'm gonna take my lash curler and get my lashes ready for some Mally Volumizing Mascara. This is just a mini here. This was a mascara that was probably one of my favorites years ago. And you know, time passes, you're trying new things all the time, and it's kind of hard to do what I do and always stick with the same products long term, but I'm gonna use a little of this today and bring back some memories. Oh, it is brilliant. And Mally has been putting out some different kinds of mascaras. I think some different ones that have like rubber bristle brushes, but this would be like the traditional, you know, Mally Volumizing. And I just think that's doing great. It's really highlighting all my lashes. I can't remember how well this did on my lower lashes though, so I may put some CoverGirl Clump Crusher down there. What I'm a little ticked about for this upcoming weekend is that I think it's gonna be really rainy, and it's the weekend that they have a little carnival in town, like actual rides and, you know, corn dogs and all that business. And what are they gonna do if it's completely pouring down rain all weekend long? Like, we've seen that they're setting up and everything. And Nookie's really, really excited to go to it. Something about these black lashes now, it's making the whole green vibe on my lids, I feel, stand out even more. It's great. This may be the day that I reorder a full-size tube of Mally Volumizing. I don't have great lashes myself, but with this, they're pretty darn good. Just a little CoverGirl Clump Crusher here on the lower lashes, just because I can't remember if I can trust that other one on my lower lashes or not. Now for lips, I'm trying out a new lip brand. It's called Lique. It's Lique, and it had a whole like kind of narrow stand of lip balms and liquid lipsticks and regular lipsticks. So I got two of their like cream lipsticks. I got one of the ombre style ones. This is in Seduction. So it gives you like a pinky, rosy, kind of berry type look to the lips. I think I just named every layer of the color there. It's a pretty color overall, but you have to, I feel, do a little bit of blending in with your finger or a lip brush to make that all perfectly make sense on your lips. You know what I mean? And then you have to make sure it's turned such a way that you get the proper ombre effect on your lower lip, right? I don't know. It's not just a simple like one and done, slap it on and it looks perfect. You have to do a little blending, I think. But I like the texture of that. And then I got another shade that seemed a little bit unique. It's called Flawless. And I thought this would be so good for fall. It's this really like kind of rusty brownish shade. And I think it might look really pretty with this look we've got going on. So that diamondy shape actually works really well around the Cupid's bow. I'm really not used to this shape, but that ain't bad. This kind of reminds me of that gingerbread shade that Too Faced came out with their Melted collection, like for the holidays. It was the cutest packaging and it was a great color that looked almost exactly like this. This might be a little lighter. I really like this color. It's pumpkin spice. It's pumpkin spice in a lipstick. Too soon for some of you? Yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm already seeing leaves starting to change and it's football season. My fall decor is already up. The texture is so creamy, yet kind of light feeling. The shape of the lipstick takes a little getting used to. It has a nice scent though. Light vanilla scent, real vanilla is what it smells like. But that was all I picked up, was this variety. I wanted to get one of their lip balms, but they didn't have the shade that I was wanting. And the liquid lipsticks, I don't know, they probably had some great colors, but if I've got an option, I'll take a regular lipstick over a liquid lipstick any day. Now, after putting that on, after doing my eyes, I think I need more blush. When in doubt, apply more blush. T-shirt team, let's go. This all really worked together though. I wasn't planning to necessarily do a green eye and everything else with this kind of peachy or like kind of brownish warmth going on, but it's really all working together nicely. Pop a little bit of that. Finished look with my KOHL'S makeup. I'm really happy with this look actually. These little pure eye palettes I think are really cool. I like tiny things. I especially like the color selection in the Night palette. If you wanted to get this kind of look from the Once palette though, I mean you could apply either Hobby or Midwest and then a little Deuce Paid, which would be similar to this. A little corduroy all over the lid, add in a little Oh Heavens, and you basically got the look. But like I said, the Once isn't fitting in anybody's clutch that I know of. Show me if you can fit it in your clutch. It might fit in your carry-on bag or your canvas tote. The Mally Perfect Prep Primer, I'm gonna be using this all the time. I love and adore the texture of that product. I love the way it evens out the skin, yet it feels kind of hydrated, yet very, very soft. This foundation stick, like I said, not in my top 5 of foundation sticks, but I do like it as far as a matte one goes. And let's not forget, I didn't put on a separate concealer today. This did everything for me. The Photo Balm powder, not real fantastic for me. I mean, the price was amazing for something from the Balm, but it's not what I'd call a real soft, rich powder, just a very basic powder. The Mally Cheek palette is nice. I don't think it's a complete must-have. I mean, I like this color in the middle, but that's the most outstanding thing for me. And that's a color I know I already have in my collection, but it is good quality if you're looking to get something from Mally. Mentioned the eye palettes, love that. Gonna be getting myself a full size of the volumizing mascara just because that's bringing back so many positive memories there. And then this brand called Lick, buttery, creamy, beautiful lipsticks. I really like this shade for fall. The ombre lip, to me, I kind of feel like, okay, good effort, but it's not completely foolproof. So let me know, guys, have you been to KOHL'S lately? What did you come up with? Do you shop there for makeup regularly? Because like I said, it's been over a year since I'd been there, and so I was all surprised by what I was seeing. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye.